Dolly, this is Louis. Dolly, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. You looking swell, Dolly, I can tell, Dolly. You still growing, you still growing, you still going strong. I feel the room sway, but the band's playing one of our old favorite songs from way back when. So take a rap, fellas, find an empty lap, fellas. Dolly, never go away again.
What's up, guys? We are back with episode 9, Bread and Butter Pickleball, and I am here with Grandma Jackie in her apartment in Stuart, Florida. I asked her to be a guest this week. She obliged. Her entire apartment is full of camera gear all over the place. You ever seen anything like this before?
Never before.
There's Leo over here. We got Leo Cuomo shooting video for us. Anyway, as always, I'm going to go ahead and give you a rundown of what we're going over this week. The first thing we're going to do is announce the winner from last week's video on the Hidden Gem. The second thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask Grandma Jackie some questions. It's not often that you get to sit down with someone that was born in 1928. She probably has some wisdom for us. And then the last thing we're going to do is we ask customers and fans to send us questions about Bread and Butter Pickleball, and we're going to let Grandma Jackie read them, and I'm going to answer them.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and get into last week's winner. I got to find it here on my phone. It was, oh man, what age did you start losing your vision? Do you remember?
When I was doing some embroidery work.
But do you remember how old you were when that happened?
Probably about 45.
Yeah, it's about where I'm at right there. So it's like miserable. Anyway, we got El Tentufo wrote that I set the weight to 70 pounds on the weight machine, but I only lifted 30. And you, sir, are correct. You, sir, is correct. You are correct. I did set it to 70. And I actually was going to use 70, but I had to do multiple repetitions to get that shot, and I realized that I couldn't lift 70 pounds over and over without my arms just burning up. So you're the winner, El Tentufo. Go ahead and shoot an email to info@bnbpickleball.com. Let us know what paddle you want with a shipping address, and we will fire that bad boy out. Do you got a free paddle?
That was nice.
All right, so let me go ahead and fire this laptop up, and we're going to go ahead and find some questions. I've got questions that I wanted to ask Grandma Jackie. You haven't seen these yet. I didn't want to show you these. If you don't want to answer them, you could just say next or skip or whatever you want.
Okay.
All right. I already asked you this first one. What year were you born? 1928.
Right.
We'll let people do the math on how old you are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the second question I had is, how old were you when World War II ended? Do you remember?
When it ended,
Like would it be D-Day? That was the end, right?
I was probably about 18. That's all right.
That's what I kind of remember you telling me you were about 18.
I remember the day the war ended.
Do you remember what else you told me?
What?
You told me that the day it ended, you had never partied, you never drank, you never smoked, but you and your girlfriends
You got it.
snuck out on the rooftop, and didn't you smoke a Lucky Strike cigarette?
Well,
Or puff it?
Actually, we made smoke rings with a whole pack of cigarettes. But I didn't inhale.
You just pulled a Bill Clinton. That's awesome. That had to be a pretty. We'll move on from this, but that had to be to be alive during that time.
Yeah.
And for that to end had to be, especially everyone knew somebody that was gone, that had passed, that had lost their life serving. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Pretty big day.
But the country was together then.
Yeah. Everyone was united.
Everyone wanted to go fight.
Yeah. That had to be a pretty cool time to be alive.
It was.
And a good, not and yes. So anyway, that's pretty cool. All right, the next question I have is, are you on social media? Do you have Facebook, Instagram?
I have an iPad. No, what do I have?
You have you have an iPhone.
iPhone.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
do you have like do you go on Facebook?
No Facebook.
Okay, so you
I've
don't.
been warned against that.
Very, very, very smart. So Grandma Jack is not on social media. So we're not going to be tagging her in anything. Who knows if this goes well? Maybe a bunch of people ask you to have social media and you can like document your life. Probably not. All right, and number 4. I knew I brought that up. I'm glad you said something. I'm shutting this off, but you had said you had an iPad, but you have an iPhone. Before that, you had a jitterbug.
I had a jitterbug.
So did everybody.
I had
your
3
age.
jitterbugs.
And so, do you like this better?
I do. I have a good friend that kind of walks me through it, and when she doesn't, when Judy's home, she walks me through it.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah. Well, I think it's cool because every once in a while I get a text from you. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I got a text from Grandma Kinney.
Yeah.
And at first it wasn't so many, but then it seems like you're getting used to it.
I don't use email, but I do text.
Nice. Text is amazing. The next one I had is, what is your favorite food these days?
You know, that's a good question. That's what people keep asking me. I just want a good crock pot, well-cooked vegetables with potatoes and lots of good broth. I just, something that's homespun.
Yeah.
I don't like all this French stuff.
The French stuff. Like croissants?
Well, I like croissants. Yeah, I like it. But
You just want, just hearty, homemade.
home-cooked food.
Yeah. And sometimes it's okay at this place, but sometimes not.
No comment.
I don't want to get you started. Let's
comment.
move on from there because you've gotten fired up with me before about the quality of food at this place. Maybe today, if we can wrap this thing up, we'll go eat. We'll figure something out.
Oh, sounds good.
All right. The next question is, how have you managed to live this long? 95 years old. What advice do you give people that are trying to stay alive for a long time? What do you think it is? Is it lifestyle?
I think a lot of it's genes, and I think a lot of it is I didn't drink, I didn't smoke.
Right.
Other than that, I don't know what it is. The Lord's just taking care of me.
There you go. Being taken care of. Cool deal. The next one I have is... the next question I have is, do you recommend being alive this long?
Now, that's a tough question. As long as you're thinking well and feeling well, it's great. But
Right.
for those that aren't, then it probably is difficult.
And you've been lucky. You've had...
I've been fortunate.
Yeah. Very fortunate. Let's go on to the next one. I had, how much was gas per gallon? Do you remember when you started to drive?
When I started to drive, all I can remember is when I was going on a trip with my dad up to meet Mother at the lake, at Lake Michigan. And the filling station at the corner said 3 gals for $1. And I thought that was the funniest thing, 3 gals for $1.
It's instead of gallons, like
Yeah,
as in,
instead of gallons.
Gotcha. And that is kind of.
Yeah.
Do you think they did it on purpose as a joke,
That was just their way of saying. Yeah.
3 gals for $1 is pretty cheap.
Yeah, it is.
That's like Vegas prices. Anyway, all right. So let's move. Then I had the back to car things. What was your first car? And do you remember how much it was?
I remember my first car when I was married. And that was a Studebaker, a little Starlight coupe. Studebaker.
Yeah, and you guys all used to work there.
My husband and I both worked there.
You guys don't know, my family was all originally from South Bend, Indiana, so there was a little bit of a family history of everybody working at Studebaker.
My
Grandpa
dad.
Bob.
My dad worked there for, 35 years.
Yeah. That was an Elkhart though, right? Or no, was it in South Bend?
It's in South Bend.
Okay. Do you remember how much that Studebaker was when you got married?
I think he had a loan for $1,500. I don't know what he paid down on it.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much do you think if a good pickleball paddle these days is like $200, $150 to $200? I wonder, like, inflation wise, what would a pickleball paddle have costed back then? Probably like
$1.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. Inflation, kids.
Yeah.
That's why you should be putting your money away. You're losing 7% every year. I think that's what they say, right?
I can't say anything political, can I?
No, you don't.
Okay.
I mean, you could, but we probably should. We don't, or actually, we might get a lot more comments.
Yeah. Negative.
Negative ones. All right, we'll cruise through this. Who was the president the year you were born?
The year I was born, how would I remember that?
Well,
I don't know.
We can Google it real quick.
Okay.
Hey Siri, who was the president in 1928? Calvin Coolidge.
Okay. Calvin Coolidge.
That sounds like the most like old school name ever. Like, was that dude like on a horse? He had to be on a horse. That's like a horse rider's name, like a cowboy's
Well,
name.
Hoover was on the horse.
He was, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is an interesting one. What do you think about electric vehicles?
Well, I think they're nice. They're limiting because you can't go forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't see if electricity is going to get to be so scarce. How they can, where do you plug them in?
Yeah.
It's using energy that we, shouldn't use.
But the only thing that's kind of cool about it is at your age, you're not really supposed to be driving. But if you had a Tesla, it would just drive you. That's the only. I'm not sure. They can be kind of cool, but it's interesting what's going on. I was curious what you think because you've seen from a Studebaker all the way we have Teslas now.
Yeah.
It's interesting to talk to someone that's like seen all
Yeah.
that. Were you impressed when the light bulb was invented?
I wasn't that old.
I'm just kidding, of course. And the last thing is how long has it been since you worked and had a job?
Well, let's see. I actually had that cottage business, so I was self-employed.
The cottage business.
It was a cottage business where we made quilts.
Oh, that one. Yeah. That's when you used to take them to Chicago and sell them, right?
All right, Chicago. Marshall Fields is now gone. We did that for about 12 years. Had a really good business.
I remember being a kid, and when we would come into town for Christmas, it was actually my first experience playing ping pong because you had a ping pong table in the basement, and my brothers and I would go down there and play. But I always remembered, depending on the time of year that we were there was this giant roll of like batting above the ping pong table. That's where we used to lay out and cut everything. And it was super hard on certain shots. And we could not move that thing because it was, and like I remember some years it would be not as much batting, and some years it would be a ton. And when the thing was full, it was this huge
you could hardly
cylinder.
play ping pong.
You could hardly play. Anyway, that's pretty much what I had for you, and I appreciate it. It's always fun, and we don't have the time today to get into like all these stories that you've always told us and seeing things grow up or whatever. I've always thought it's pretty cool, so I appreciate you taking the time. I probably should ask you one more question. And I know the answer to this, but it's good for people to hear too. Like you're not a pickleball player, but you did play tennis. And a fair amount of it when you lived in Sebring, Estero. Yeah.
Mostly.
Because I mean that's where I actually really got into tennis was coming and visiting you and Grandpa Bob, and I remember myself being super ate up with it. Like when I wake up in the morning, I wanted to go down there
And bat the ball around.
yeah, and I wanted to beat those old people.
And you did.
Well, I did. Not at first though. It was like the second summer that I went or came up there, I started really getting better at it. But those are all good memories. All right, now we're going to switch this over, guys. We're going to have Grandma ask some questions, and I'm going to try to run through these pretty quick, and I'll hand this over to you, and you can read these off.
Okay.
Online questions. Let's go. We can just start it just like that. Go ahead, Grandma.
Okay, I have a few questions for you. Have you decided on a style of bag?
Well, remember, you got to say who writes it, because if they don't get a shout-out,
Okay,
people get weird about that.
Pickler or Die writes, have you decided on a style of bag?
Yes, we have, and he asked also shoe lockers, paddle storage, colors, and all that. Yes, we have decided on a style of bag. we have some samples coming, but this project, you know how weird people are about bags? Like for like organizational bags, they're very weird about it. So, and I get it because like I just bought like a new camera bag for my gear, and like people want certain things. So we are working on it. I don't think we're going to do a cooler area in this first one, but we will have paddle storage. We will have a shoe locker, and we are going to try to keep the bags. Everything we do is kind of crazy and wild, like color-wise, but I think we're going to keep these bags very clean and simple, so that if you wanted to travel with it, and, and we don't want people to look like they're walking, like a walking advertisement billboard. So yes, we have bags coming.
Okay.
It's going to take some time.
Rogue Gaston writes, you should spend more time with your grandma. Are you too busy? Are you?
I am pretty busy, and he is right. I should spend more time with him.
Okay.
I mean, how many times have I seen you in the past year? 3? Which is pretty stupid because you're only an hour away.
Probably 3 or 4.
But you're only an hour away.
Yeah.
Which is not very. So do you get mad at me sometimes?
No, I don't get mad at you.
All right.
Nadine 32958 writes, do you need any special shoes to play pickleball? And she's asking for a friend.
If you're just getting started out with pickleball and you have tennis shoes, just regular, even running shoes, you can play in those. But I will tell you that court shoes are what you need to ultimately move to.
Is that what those are?
No, these are vanity, like just fun Nikes. You want with good court shoes, they're a little bit stiffer than a running shoe, and they've got special materials that are put into the different aspects of the shoe, like up on the toe up front, so that when you drag your toe when you're dinking back and forth, they hold up better. But the biggest thing is ankle support, because man, you can roll an ankle playing pickleball like pretty easily. Okay. So yeah, there are special shoes, and Head makes some good ones. They're all making them now. Adidas, Babolat. There's a bunch of brands you can check them out.
Okay. Colbingham 3 writes, can I get a free filth paddle?
Would you give people free stuff if they emailed you in all the time and asked for it?
Probably not.
What do you think about this guy? Should we give him one? It's up to you. It's your call. I mean, I'm not going to be...
Has he ever had one? Did he ever buy one?
I have no idea.
Well, maybe if he bought one, we'd think twice about it. Okay. Rafael Redavino PB writes, how many tries would it take to lob your grandkids?
That's almost he's asking you a question. You know what a lob is?
Yeah, back and forth.
Well, no, but like when you if you're back and forth thinking and everyone's up close to the kitchen line playing, a lob is when you try to hit it over the head so they have to stop and run back. How many times do you think it would take you to?
That's kind of a silly question.
Move on. We'll move on.
There's only one time that I felt like lobbing him. Mike Hernandez writes, do you guys take it easy on Grandma when you play her?
It's been a long time. Well, when I was young, I did not take it easy on you. But if I played now, I probably would take it easy on you. We don't want you to break a hip.
James Brigard writes, what were some of the other brand names you considered?
We didn't.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Richard came to me with the name Bread and Butter and said, I like this, and I think it's funny, and I think we can do a lot with it. And I said, I love it, let's go. We've been doing branding stuff for a long time, and when I heard the name,
yeah, that's appealing.
Yeah, I liked it. Easy to remember, didn't consider it. What's the next one?
Ileana Jardines writes, will the drip bread head be back in blue in addition to white?
We've had people ask us. I do not know. I'm not sure if we're going to do it or not. We had the bread head in blue, and it sold really well, and we decided to do it in white because we thought it looked cooler. We've had some people say that they would like it back in blue. We'll have to see. As of right now, no, but maybe eventually.
Okay. Dan Jakin writes, who are your favorite pro players? Top 3 men and women.
Man, I don't even want to answer that question.
He doesn't want to answer that question.
Here's what I'll say is that I watch a lot of pro pickleball on the weekends. I don't have the time when the tournaments start midweek to watch all the way through, but I typically watch Saturday, and very specifically, I always watch Championship Sunday, and they're all kind of nerds. They're all nerdy. Like, I don't have one that I think is, like, super cool. Like, you know, if you have, like, basketball, you got, like, LeBron James, you got, like, Michael Jordan, you got Kobe Bryant, all, like, super cool guys. Football, you got Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, I mean, name them, like, Joe Montana, all super cool guys, big personalities, all these things. Soccer, you got Cristiano Ronaldo, you've got Messi. I mean, you've got all these cool people. Like, pickleball, it's like...
Well, they haven't been around that long.
Yeah, well, but, like, I don't know, they're just all kind of, like, nerdy. I don't really have, like, a favorite. When it comes down to, like, gameplay-wise, I like intensity. So, like, you know, I like watching Julian Arnold because he gets fired up and seems to be, like... Actually, I didn't like him in the beginning, but after I saw some, like, post-match interviews, he's actually a pretty chill guy. So I kind of like him. I think that James Ignatowicz is actually pretty cool. Like, I actually saw him in Texas, and he was wearing a Patagonia shirt with a permit fish on the back of it. It's like, I think he might fish, and like he's actually super funny. So like maybe James, if you want to go down to Belize and catch permit, hit me up. We don't have to talk about pickleball. But like I think he's cool. Female wise, who's cool? I mean, Annalie Waters at 16, people complain about her. They just hate on her because she's a badass. I mean, she's 16 years old beating everybody. And she's pretty amazing, very driven. Catherine Parento, I would have to say that's probably my number one favorite. She's super nice. She's Canadian. I won't hold that against her. But she's like a super nice lady. I don't really have favorites, but like, as the sport gets bigger and there's more personalities, I can't wait to see who comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you play pickleball? Julie Overmeyer is wondering about that. She says she does. You don't look like it.
I do play pickleball. I am not very good at it. I mean, I'm okay. I played a lot of sports when I was in high school, so I hold my own. I really would like to have more time to play, but when I do go to the courts, people know locally the bread and butter's like around, so I end up doing a lot of talking, and I feel like I can't go there. Like I've even tried to like not wear bread and butter stuff and go. People still talk to me. I need to play more, and I do lose some weight. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate it.
Peter Parrish writes, "Why did you start a pickleball paddle company?" Bread and butter.
Yeah, needed to make a living, and the last brand that I hadn't started got acquired, and Richard Blanco came to me with the idea, and I knew it was an emerging sport and going really well, so that's why I did. Started it. We've been having a blast.
Okay. Mike Hernandez writes, "How many filth paddles do you make in each batch?"
It's varied. We started off, and the minimum we've always done is 1,000, and on this last run, I think we did 2,000. So we're slowly ramping them up so we don't run out of stock. And I know that's why he's asking, because we ran out of stock on the first couple rounds. So
Clay Beckton writes, "There are so many paddle companies. Is it scary starting a brand with so much competition?"
Yeah, nah. Yes and no. So, I mean, it is scary to start a new brand when there is a lot of people doing the same thing, but a lot of people start these things, and I have a lot of experience running e-commerce stuff, so like it's not as scary. It's like I've done it before, you do it again, rinse and repeat, and this one's fun because I really love the brand and like making all this content, even sitting here with you and stuff. It's just like, it doesn't really feel like work. I'm not scared.
That's good.
Yeah, not scared.
Okay. Jody Sapusik writes, "Which grandkid is Jackie's favorite?" Wow.
That's my sister.
That's putting me on the spot. I really don't have a favorite. They're all a jewel to me. They're all special in their own way.
That's very political. That's politically correct way to answer the question.
Okay, good.
I know I'm your
I
favorite.
did something right.
I am your favorite.
Okay. I think that's all I have for you, Doug.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate the question, guys. Thanks for reading them, Grandma.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And to wrap up this week's video, I just want to say thanks for everyone for doing this. This was fun to sit down with Grandma. Now the real work begins.
Oh, okay.
So we did this Q&A session in this little vlog, but what we're about to do is put you back in those Pit Viper sunglasses, and we are going to have you be the face of bread and butter in a filth commercial that we're going to shoot, that we're going to run for pay-per-click across the internet.
Okay.
Which I think is going to be pretty cool.
Okay.
So we're going to get after that. As always, like and subscribe. We'll probably throw a little bit of footage. We're not going to show the full commercial that we're about to shoot here in Grandma Kinney's apartment. But if you do want to save some money on some paddles, you can use GRANDMAJACK at checkout and save yourself. What percent off do you want to give them?
I think 15%.
Man, that's higher than I was going to go. All right, that's cool. 15% GRANDMAJACK. You can save 15%. We're going to shoot this video, and we'll probably throw a little bit of like B-roll clips from the shoot into here so you can kind of get a sneak peek of what we're doing.
Sounds like a winner.
Fun doing this.
Yeah, it has been.
We're going to get after it and shoot this damn thing.
Okay.
Let's go.
Now I don't hardly know her, but I think I could love her. Crimson and clover, will she come walking over? Now I've been waiting to show her. Crimson and clover, over.
What do you know about the filth? This is the dirtiest paddle on the market. Take it from me. I've got 95 years of hard-hitting experience. I've hit all the paddles, but the bread and butter filth is different. It's thermoformed and edge wall injected and just plain nasty. My dinks are buttery and my resets are on point. Are you asking about my drives? Watch out, kid. Are you ready to get filthy? Just use GRANDMAJACK at checkout and save some cash. Only at bnbpickleball.com.